so that we're also recording as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So today's January 1st, 2023. It's a new month for the property management. So rent collections coming up, the lease renewals, you got to send those out, and then some other stuff as well. So what a great way to start the year off on a Sunday and start studying for this license. So let's see where we're at. We're on Champions. This is the exam prep, and we're going to go over some things that we didn't go over yesterday. You can download your textbook on here. So normally you get one that's like this, and it says exam prep, and I actually think I have it somewhere. Here it is. So, to be honest with you, I never read this thing, and I need to. But you get this, real estate exam prep, and it's really good to read. Has basically everything you need to know that would most likely be on the test. And then, so yeah, you get that. If you don't have the book or you lost it, they gave you an e-version. And then over here, this is their magazine that I was talking about yesterday about the SAE and CE classes, which is good to know because a lot of people just focus on getting their license, but then they forget that they forget about the SAE and then continuing education, because you're not just wanting to get your real estate license. If you're taking this career serious and you're trying to really grow, well, then you may want to look into getting other license like your home inspector or your mortgage loan officer license. So there's plenty of stuff that they offer on here. For where we're at right now on the exam prep, you have different options. So you can do, I'm in the materials, then there's exams, additional review, and then display all. Down here, which is something I'm going to start looking at, is the supplemental math worksheet. These I actually printed out and gonna get my brother to actually help me with these because he's really good at math. So if you have anyone that knows math and that can, help you if you don't understand a lot of these problems like myself, well then they give you homework that you can do. And then also, if you run out of stuff to do, the supplemental math, they give you the worksheet and answer key, but then you can even check out what the broker has to study. So for the people that are getting their real estate license, say 4 years down the line, they want to become a broker and they meet all the other education requirements, the 900 hours, and I think transactions and stuff, and they want to become a broker, this is the homework they have to know and all of this stuff. So if you really want to go above and beyond. And then down here you have the exam 1 score sheet. So that's pretty cool. So that kind of navigates you through that. Additional study tools. I tried joining this. I never had any luck getting in the study hall. It says it's every other Wednesday at 6 to 9. So that's cool. So it says it allows students to attend these sessions remotely from home using a webcam and mic. That would be really cool. Wow, you can ask questions about the material to a Champions instructor. That's nice. I thought it was just like a Zoom thing where you're just live with everyone and you have to be quiet. I didn't realize you could talk to the instructor. Oh yes, the flashcards. The app is good. It's cheaper. It's $3, but you can also get the cards, and these are actually pretty good. This was like $20, and just to show you guys, so you don't have to, what you're buying, is you get these cards, it'll say the term and then the definition. So voluntary alienation, that is an owner transfers title to another, usually with written documents such as a deed, will, or power of attorney. So if you have friends or you have your partner, you can go over the terms with that, and that's about $20. Or you can buy the app. Honestly, I think after buying, this is good, But the test on here that we took yesterday, I feel like that is more effective because it gives you that same feeling as if you're actually taking the real exam, and it kind of gets you locked in. And not to mention, if you're somebody that struggles with testing and you get kind of like locked up about it, or you just get what's that word, butterflies or something, then taking these will help you a lot because it's very similar to the real exam, and it'll get you prepped up. So we did this one yesterday, 12:31, finished at 8. It's Sunday, 1:48 over here, so we got plenty of time. This video is going to be kind of long, so if you want to come back later or you want to hang out the whole time, do as you will. Today we'll do the state prep exam 1, so that's timed, and then we'll see where we're at after that. So I haven't gone on Quizlet for the state prep exam, so there's no way that we may go on Quizlet, just to keep speed it up, because we really don't want to be on the camera for hours. But yeah, I haven't gone over. So this is page 1 of 3. We have 90 minutes, and let's get started. So number 1, TREC has the power to order witnesses to appear and or produce records of documents for its investigations and hearings. This is called subpoena power. If a license holder fails to respond to a subpoena, is that how you say that? Hold up.
Subpoena.
Oh, that's not how you say it. Subpoena. Okay. What can TREC do? Also, I apologize if that was really loud. What can TREC do? I got no idea. If a license holder fails to respond to a subpoena, what can TREC do? So it sounds like they're needing to respond to something, and they're not responding to something. Oh, I remember this question. TREC can file suit with the Attorney General to enforce the subpoena. They're probably not just going to revoke the license without a hearing. I mean, if you just think about it, that doesn't make sense. No legal organization really works like that. They always have a hearing and they follow their steps. TREC can assess administrative penalty against the license holder for up to $44,000. As we know, the actual amount that they do is $5,000. So that's not right, although that could be for something else. TREC can file charges of felony against the license holder based on fraud. Maybe, but that doesn't sound like the best answer, so we're going to go with C. Number 2, a license holder in violation of TRELA has received a summons from TREC that a hearing will be held regarding the possible revocation or suspension of his license. The license holder fails to respond to the summons. What will TREC do? Schedule a hearing at the state office. Schedule a hearing in the district court serving the license holder. Schedule a hearing at the main office. No. I feel like it's A or C. Schedule a hearing in the district court serving the license holder. Schedule a hearing in the county court where the license holder practices real estate. Okay. Well, you know what? I have a vow. We won't use any Quizlet to do this exam, and we'll see really how much we know, because then it'll give you guys an accurate, really shows if we know our stuff or not. And then we might take it again and use Quizlet. TREC has received an application for a Texas real estate sales license from Mary. Mary has completed all her educational requirements and passed the state exam. At this point, TREC will begin the background check. Which of the following statements is false? TREC has no time limit for determining integrity. TREC has 30 days to complete. That's true. TREC must notify Mary the decision to disapprove her application in writing. That's true. Mary has 30 days to appeal a denial of her application. I feel like it's A as the wrong answer. TREC has no time limit for determining integrity. Hopefully that's right. Marcos was a Texas licensed real estate sales agent for some time. He then chose to become inactive. Trek has been holding his license in that status. He now wishes to activate the license. What will you have to do? I believe it's that one. I know you have to pay something. I don't think they'd make you pay $200. They might. Gosh, I want to use Quizlet so bad. Which of the following must be posted in a public location on your broker's wall? Oh, yes. This is... not that one. Policy and Procedures Manual. I don't remember hearing about that. Consumer Information Notice 1-4. No. I think it's broker's name at least half the size of the largest posted advertisements. Consumer, I feel like it's B or D. I guess we'll find out at the end. Fidelity is one of the canons of professional ethics within the rules of the commission. That means which of the following? Fidelity would be being knowledgeable in your geographic market area, avoiding lying, omitting, or misrepresentation. Gosh, man, I don't feel like that's the right answer. Providing the IABS information about brokerage services at the first obtained dollar in real estate. That's kind of just like a general. That's not really fidelity. Fidelity, I don't believe, has anything to deal with being knowledgeable. It's really about kind of like, fidelity is more like loyalty, I think. We're going to roll with C. A doesn't sound like a good answer. Being, I don't even know how to say it, scrupulous and meticulous in the performance of your real estate functions. No. All right, we're going with C. Number 7, which of the following actions are grounds for suspension or revocation of your license by Trek? Oh, that's definitely one. You have to disclose that. Drawing up a bill of sale for personal property outside, advising a buyer to get the attorney's opinion and title. No. Failing to list an expiration date in an employment contract. I really think it's A. Drawing up a bill of sale for personal property outside the transaction. That doesn't really sound bad. They're supposed to disclose if they have 10% ownership interest in an entity involved in the transaction. That's true. We're going to go with A. Number 8, a Texas broker may pay commission to a broker associate. Can they pay a commission to a licensed attorney in Texas? I'm not sure. Don't think they might be able to. An in-house employee of a principal? Probably not. Any unlicensed person for a referral? Probably not. Which of the following actions is not a violation of the Texas Real Estate License Act? So it's not a violation. Oh, I heard this question. Selling real estate by lottery, that's a violation. Placing a sign to sell a lease with only verbal consent of the owner, that's probably a violation. A broker guarantees a buyer that based on past performance, invested property will appreciate over the next 2 years. Probably a violation. A broker offers a guaranteed buyback of a property for a set price if the purchaser is not happy with the investment after a 2-year period of ownership. I mean, shoot, just think about that. If you're the broker, you're selling a property, and then you tell them, hey, I will buy the property back for 50% of today's price. I mean, this would be crazy if they're like, yeah, I'll take that deal. So say you sell it to them for $200,000 and say, if you don't like it, I'll buy it back from you for $100,000 in 2 years if you're not happy. And that is probably the answer. But I mean, if you think about that, that broker is not only getting a commission to sell it, but then he's also getting the house for $100,000. That sounds like a good deal. I mean, for the broker. I don't think that's a good deal for the client. That is pretty cool. I wonder, maybe you guys in the comments would know if there's anyone who's actually done that before, where they've told the client saying, "Hey, I'll buy your property back in 2 years if you're not happy with it." Um, I mean, that's a long time. And then the thing is, in 2 years, hopefully you have the money, because I'm sure it's when they say, "Hey, I want you to buy the property back," but you're like, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm broke." Then you have that in writing. I don't know. Number 10, without proper authorization, a sales agent may accept a commission directly from a seller, a buyer, the title company. I'm going to say C is broker. A broker has listed property. The owner mentions that a neighborhood is interested in selling. Okay, so the broker meets with a neighbor and secures a second listing. Both listings sell and the broker earns a commission on each. The broker would like to thank the owner. Oh, okay, I get it. The broker would like to thank the owner of the first listed property for this referral. How can the broker thank the seller? He can't give cash. He can't go over $50. He can give the seller a gift of $100 in value, not cash. No. He can pay the seller whatever commission amount he agreed to pay for the referral. He cannot pay the seller any commission at all. It would probably be D. You can give $50 gift card. You can't give him cash for some reason, and you can't go over the $50 mark. So they're very strict on, referrals. Number 12, a sales agent wishes to transfer to a new broker. What may he engage in the business? When may he engage in the business? When the new broker submits the sponsorship forms to Trek, when Trek receives his request for transfer, when the new broker receives a license for him from Trek. A sounds like the best answer. No, you don't have to wait 48 hours. Actually, Randy at Champions said it's very fast when it comes to transferring to a new broker. He said he did it, and the new broker got his license in like 10 minutes or something. So, if that really happened, that's really cool. Also, I think we said this earlier, but if you're doing this with me, you're definitely going to want to get some coffee. And real quick, as a pause, if you like Chip Ahoy cookies, crunchy cookies, whatever, and you want some that aren't super unhealthy, you should check out these. This is Back to Nature plant-based snacks. It says wheat, flour, and semi-sweet chocolate chunks. And I always check on the back for these so that it doesn't say anything that would say high fructose corn syrup or any other red 40 stuff. I heard that's not too good for you, so may want to avoid that. And has 1 gram of protein. Not like that's gonna do you much, but yeah, you're gonna want to get some of that and maybe some water. Oh, and you can get this at Sprouts or Whole Foods, which, to be honest with you, you get a better deal at Whole Foods. Sprouts is honestly really expensive, but Whole Foods is, they're kind of close, but Whole Foods has more better cookies and stuff than Sprouts. So, where are we at? Number 13, which of the following is the responsibility of the broker? A, the listing advertisements of the sales agent he sponsors, the continuing education of all license holders he sponsors, the final, if you're thinking about B, that would be the license holder's responsibility to make sure they're getting their continuing education, I would think. Number C, the financial opportunities and success of the license holder he sponsors. That's definitely something the broker probably doesn't want to be responsible for. It's the license holders that are responsible for their success and financial opportunities, I would think. The timely renewal of licensees by the sales agent he sponsors. No, these are kind of all self-responsible ones. Let's go with A, the listing advertisements of the sales agents he sponsors. It's probably going to be A. If we get that wrong, I'm going to be mad because A sounds like the best answer. Number 14, which with the knowledge and consent of her broker/employer, an unlicensed assistant is showing property to prospective buyers. What is true about this situation? Okay, so here's the key word, with the knowledge and consent. Well, she has knowledge and consent, but here's the other key word, an unlicensed assistant is showing property to prospective buyers. What is true? Well, she's unlicensed. Only the broker can be fined. Only the unlicensed can be fined. Both the broker and unlicensed can be fined of a third-degree felony. Both the broker and unlicensed assistant can be fined. Only the unlicensed. Man, this is tricky. I feel like both of them are going to be in trouble. I don't think it's a third-degree felony. You know, both of them are most likely going to be in trouble. I'm going to go with B. Hopefully we get that right. Number 15, in the event of a conflict between the statutory duties of intermediary and the common law duties of dual agency of a broker, which takes precedence? Oh, this is a tricky one. In the event of a conflict, so there's a conflict between intermediary between the statutory duties of intermediary and the common law duties of dual agency of a broker, which takes precedence? So which one is higher than the other one? I'm going to say B. Whichever the broker is entered into first, whichever the broker and the parties agree to. Probably B. 16. When must representation be disclosed and in what form? That's a great question. So it's not saying, well, when must representation be disclosed and in what form? So it is asking that you would disclose, and it's also asking what form. Well, the form, it could be in orally or in writing. In writing at first contact, in writing at first face-to-face contact with a party. It's either B or it's D. I'm going to go D. Which of the following is true and demonstrates the difference between the role of a broker, intermediary, and the role of a sales agent's appointee? The difference between the role of a broker, intermediary, and the role of a sales agent appointee. Ooh, that's a good question. Well, wouldn't the broker, intermediary... So it's asking for the difference between... Man, we're yawning already? We need some water. The sales agent may give advice and opinions to one party in the transaction. The sales agent may give advice and opinions to both parties in the transaction. That's not right. If he's a sales agent, he's on one side. He can't be on both. The broker may give advice and opinions to one party in the transaction. The broker may give advice and opinions to both parties. Well, couldn't the broker give advice and opinions to both parties in the transaction? Broker intermediary. Well, it's asking for what's true. Well, what is true is the sales agent may give advice and opinions to one party in a transaction. So I'm going to go with A. It'd be either A or I would think B. What is required in order? Oh man. What is required in order for a broker to act as an intermediary? The broker must have written permission of the seller and the buyer, including information how the broker is to be paid. The broker must have written permission of the seller in the listing. May have verbal. Nope. The broker must use strict promulgated forms for intermediary status and appointments. Well, to act as an intermediary, the broker must have 2 associates and to appoint to work with the parties in order to be an intermediary. Because wouldn't that be intermediary with appointments? And the with appointments is the 2 associates. That whole thing, man, in law of agency where they explain intermediary with appointments and without appointments, dude, it is so confusing. You remember it once they explain it, but then like a week later you forget exactly all of it. It's like crap. The broker has signed an exclusive agreement to represent a seller. Which of the following is a requirement of the minimum level service in this situation? The broker must advertise the client's property in addition to placing the listing in MLS. The broker must refer all clients' questions to an attorney. The broker must present any offer to or counteroffer from the client. The broker must put the interest of the client above all others, except the broker's own interest. No, that's not right. I would assume it's the broker must present any offer to or counteroffer from the client. You don't refer all client questions to an attorney. The broker must advertise the client's property in addition to placing the listing in the MLS. John has listed the property at 17 Oak Street. The sellers have received and accepted an offer from the buyers. The buyers have received the survey, and it shows an encroachment that the sellers did not previously disclose. Okay, so the sellers did not previously disclose. Buyers are not willing to purchase the property in this condition. What action on the part of the buyers must be taken? Well, it shows an encroachment and the sellers did not previously disclose. Not D. Within 10 days, the buyers can notify the sellers that the contract's canceled and demand the return of the earnest money. The buyers can sue the sellers for a breach of contract. The buyers have a number of days mentioned in paragraph 60 to address survey problems with the sellers. Honestly, I feel like 6 or A is the right answer. And B, kind of. Why does it say within 10 days? Because none of us know how long their thing was set. We're gonna roll C. Who is responsible for filing and the effective date of the real estate sales contract? Wouldn't it be the broker? The agent of the party accepting the final offer. The effective date? The broker. That's probably not right, but we'll see. If it's not right, it's probably going to be B. But then again, that kind of does make sense because the agent of the party accepting the final offer, wouldn't they write the effective date since they're the last people to accept it? And then after them, they're the ones putting it in the next steps. Number 22, what tract promulgated form should be incorporated into the contract when a buyer wants to obtain possession before closing and funding? Oh, this is the into the contract. I believe this is the buyer's temporary lease addendum. It's not the addendum for the sale of another property by the buyer. It's not the tract consumer information, so it's not C or D. You can rule those out. The seller's temporary lease addendum. I would go with the buyer's temporary lease addendum because the buyer is temporary. I feel like the buyer is the key word here. So with the seller's temporary lease addendum, let's Google that one. I said not Quizlet, but we can use Google. Okay, seller's temporary residential lease form used when the seller occupies property for no more than 30 days. Oh. This form is used only when the seller occupies the property for no more than 90 days after closing of the purchase of the contract. Okay, so it's the inverse of the buyer's temporary residential lease. So the buyer's temporary residential lease says, hey, I know I haven't closed and funded the deal yet, but I want to move in. I want 90 days to get in and do what I want or do what they need to do. And then they'll finish their purchase contract. And this form is saying it's when the seller occupies the property for no more than 90 days after closing of the purchase contract. So that would make sense because that gives the seller 90 days to get all their stuff out, to move out, and to transfer it to their new place. So that would make sense. And so in this case, when a buyer wants to obtain possession, it would probably be the buyer's temporary lease addendum. When must the option fee be delivered? The buyer must pay his agent the option fee within 3 days of the effective date of the contract. The buyer must deliver the option within 3 days after the effective date. It's not C or D. It's definitely going to be a 3-day one. And it's not must pay his agent. It would most likely be must deliver the option within 3 days after the effective date. Because it starts after the effective date. Or it could be. It's either A or B, but we're going to go with B. John sold his waterfront property. The hurricane causes a considerable amount of beach erosion. The structure is now seaward of vegetation line. What is true? I remember this question. It's B. The state can force the removal of the structure. The buyers can sue John for damages. Honestly, that one was a tricky one, but Quizlet helped us on that a week ago. Broker Bob has a listing contract. My God, I keep yawning. Guys, comment down what I need to do to stop yawning. I need to do some push-ups or something, get the blood moving. Broker Bob has a listing contract and a buyer's representation agreement, and so is acting as an intermediary in the transaction. The buyer tells Bob that if he is successful in purchasing the property, he plans to buy all the surrounding property too. What should Bob tell the seller? So he's selling the broker Bob that if he is successful in purchasing the property, he plans to buy all the surrounding property too. What should Bob, the broker Bob, tell the seller? Wouldn't this be confidential information from the buyer? This is a tricky one. D looks like a good answer, but I'm going to go with A. Number 26. TREC rules require a license holder to disclose his dual role if he's representing himself in a transaction. TREC also requires license holders to disclose if his client is his spouse, child, parent. That's an acronym you remember in class. It should be that C, spouse, child, or parent. Okay. Which statement about Texas homestead protection is false? Homestead protection is automatic and may not be waived in Texas. That is true. Homestead protection will prevent foreclosure for unpaid property taxes. That's not true. An urban homestead can be as large as 10 acres. Homestead protection will prevent the debts of one spouse from causing the sale of property. I believe that is true. B would be the most realistic answer because homestead protection will prevent foreclosure. Well, if that was the case, then there wouldn't be so. Why are there foreclosures? Homestead protection will not prevent foreclosure for unpaid property taxes. If you have unpaid property taxes, they're coming for you. 28. Hopefully that's B. 28. The statutory estate created by two married individuals that allows for shared and separate property is two married individuals that allows for shared and separate property. Oh, this is a confusing one. The statutory estate. All right, real quick, we need to check. We're still okay. Good. We're still going. So yesterday, real quick, whoever's watching the stream, is I was streaming, but I was trying to post the video after, and it didn't let me do it. So if anyone knows how to post a live stream as a video for the channel, so anyone else watching can see it, let me know. Because, doing these live streams is great, but the problem is it goes in a different category on the channel. So if anyone's watching your videos, they may not see the live stream because they may not know to go over there and to click in that category. So, just a quick note. The statutory estate created by two married individuals that allows for shared and separate property is it common law marriage? Is it community property? Well, if it's community property, then it's both together, so they don't want that. Is it homestead? Not sure. This is why I need to study those terms. I'm going to go with common law marriage. But then that's something that we didn't really, no one even, I don't remember learning anything about common law marriage, so that's probably not the answer either. Is it joint tenancy? All right, 29. Which of the following can be an HOA ban? Oh, definitely that. A religious symbol, a roof solar panel, probably not. The state of Texas flag. Dang, if they banned you for putting the state of Texas flag up there, that would be pretty crappy. That'd be pretty anti-Texas. Number 30. Landlords in Texas have how many days to settle deposit with tenants after move out? Wouldn't that be the negotiated? What in the world? Why that guy's calling me right now? The negotiated days in the lease. 7 days, 30 days. I think they have. Wouldn't that go off the lease? That's a good question. That is a really good question. I think, though, the rule is actually you have 30 days to settle their statement of deposit. All right. Oh, wow, we're at the end. Okay. So that's page 3 of 3 of the State Prep Exam 1, Real Estate Salesperson. We are around 34 minutes. Let's see how we did without using Quizlet. Here we go. Submit all your answers. Oh! 67! That's not bad. That's honestly not bad. Off the old noggin, that's not too bad. I'm not disappointed with myself that bad. Got a 67, so we're getting there. All right, let's go ahead and go over the questions missed. So, and a good thing to do with this is to count how many questions did I miss. I missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then you would write down state exam number 1 equaled missed 10 questions. Okay, so then on the little whiteboard, now throughout the day, I mean, we got the whole day, so we're probably doing this for a while. You would just write down, I took the state exam 1, I missed 10 questions, and then really probably to write down each question on, like a notebook or something of what question that you missed and then the right answer, and then write it out. That would be the best way to keep yourself moving forward and not just clicking continue and forgetting. Also, another cool thing is right here is you don't even have to write it down if you don't want to. Thankfully, Champions has a lot of stuff there, and you can just print out your results. So, well, this is cool, and it even gives us a percentage. So Chapter 2, we got 100%, so that's a good sign. Chapter 1, we got 88. Our lowest part was 14.3%, and that was Chapter 8. Okay. Well, wait, hold up. Asian Exam 1. I wonder if this is all of them, or if this is just for this one. But basically, I mean, whatever this is, printer. Whatever this is, you can see, you kind of ballpark. Well, I got 100% here, got 88% here. So your goal is just to keep doing these until you start seeing 100% on all of this. That would probably show you, hey, you're probably ready to take the real exam. I mean, a grade of 67. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to have a complete 100. The goal is just to pass the test and to move forward. Maybe you want to get a perfect grade on the real exam. I mean, hey, do what you want to do. So yeah, that is the state prep exam. Let's go ahead and return back to class. And then in red, on a little whiteboard, I'm going to write 67%. So that's how, now I'm tracking how I'm doing. Now we're going to go find another test to do. So now we go back to exams. State prep exam 1. So that was state prep exam 1. We could go back and do the national one again. And we might do that. But then that one had a bunch of math questions I didn't want to deal with. Well, let's do it. Let's go ahead and take the national prep. So again, same thing. National EX number 1 equals, so that one's ready, and then we'll see how many questions we miss on this one. John owes a dominant estate. John sells the property. What happens to the easement? Belongs to the buyer. If you guys haven't seen the video from yesterday, you can watch that one, because in this one we're going to go pretty fast, so that we're showing new content today and for the new viewers. Number 2, a commercial tenant's lease will expire at the end of the month. He is currently in the process of moving his display. What is true? He can take these fixtures as long as he moves them prior to lease end. Yes. Mark's fence is trespassing in John's land. This is an example of encroachment. This is, surveyor has described the property from the point of beginning 200 feet north. What kind is this? What type of description is this? Most likely meets and bounds. Oh, no, wait, hold up. It is not meets and bounds. That's a lot block system. The local government has changed property use from commercial R1. This is an example of police power. Which of the following would be sufficient cause for a sheet? Property owner abandons the property. What type of legal description is most likely to be included in those sales? Plans a residential subdivision. Party lot and lot. When a property has easement appurtenant is true. The easement limits the serving estate. I remember doing this question yesterday, and I believe C was wrong. I believe it's the easement benefits the serving estate. When an encroachment exists on a listed property, what are the roles of the agents involved? So there's something on the property. Oh, we got this wrong yesterday. The listing agent discloses the encroachment, and the buyer's agent recommends a survey. That's the answer. See, yesterday we did this one. We said both agents should disclose the existence of the encroachment, suggest their clients get separate surveys. Well, I mean, that's kind of pointless for both of them to get the same. That'd be like the buyer saying, hey, let's get the foundation looked at. And then the seller says, hey, let's get the foundation looked at. And they both have foundation companies come out to look at the same thing. What really should happen is the listing agent discloses the encroachment, says, hey, Mr. Seller, there is a encroachment on the property. What do you want to do? So he's disclosing the encroachment, and the buyer says, buyer's agent talks to the buyer, says, hey, we would recommend a survey for the encroachment. So that should be the answer. And I mean, going back to this one with the foundation story is, yeah, I guess it would be good to have both of them have two different foundation companies out to see if they need to replace the foundation. But, you know what? I don't know where I was going with that. Moving on. Number 10. John, Maria, and Mark are joint tenants. Mark dies. Maria sells her share to Jane. John and Jane are tenants in common. Next. What? John owns a lakefront property. Boom! Here's the key word. Lakefront. If it's a lake, it's littoral. If it's a river, it's riparian. So it's littoral. You can always check. And I mean, you want to read the whole question. We're going kind of fast. So lakefront, you see it once, you want to see it, check it again. This is water rights to the lake. You definitely know. You see two words that say lake, it's probably littoral. If it was John owns a property by a river, he has been granted water rights to the river. That would be riparian. You see river twice, riparian. You see lake twice, probably littoral. It's not D or B. Those don't have any correlation. Mary's parents gave her a life estate on a house. John is the remainder man. Mary leased the property to Bob for 5 years. During the lease, Bob died. What happens to the property? This was a question from yesterday. When the tenant dies, property goes to Mary. Bam! Moving on. 13. A property owner has defaulted on his mortgage, and the lender has sent a notice of foreclosure. Before the foreclosure, he's able to pay some owes. He pays all that he owes and reclaim the property. This is an example of voluntary deed. B, redemption. C, accession. Accession? How do you say that? D, deed in lieu of foreclosure. It's B, redemption. And I can prove that right, guys, because check it out. That's not the real estate definition. The right of redemption refers to one's ability to reclaim the property even after foreclosure sale takes place. Man, could you imagine how great someone would feel? They're going through foreclosure and then they just have money come through and they get the house, they get all of it paid off, and it stops the foreclosure. And that they're probably like so relieved. Joe received a payment. What clause in the title policy allows the title company to make this claim? This is subrogation. Is it subrogation? I think so. We'll find out later. 15, a buyer who wants to be sure he's getting good title, general warranty deed. 16, when a landlord allows the property to become so run down, what is this? This is called termination, alienation, actions of forcible detainer, or is it constructive eviction? Anytime you see tenant, forced to leave, run down, tie that word to constructive. You see tenants and landlord and leave, think of eviction. At closing, a seller learns that he has an unsatisfied M&M lien. So would that be a mechanic's lien? What does M&M lien stand for? Because every time I see it, I think of the M&M candies. Mechanic's lien is a security interest in the title to property for the benefit of those who have supplied labor or materials that improves the property. The lien exists for both real property and personal property. So this is what an M&M. Wow, that's what it looks like. So if you ever get one of these, how to file a lien in Texas. Wow. I mean, dude, that's important to know because as a GC, general contractor, you know, last year when we were doing some jobs for builders, actually it's 21, so about 2 years ago, we that would probably apply. I guess if I was working on the property, those jobs where I was picking up trash on the house, that was a fun job, by the way. We'd go out there, this was in Cedar Hill, and I'd drive out there, I'd go to this address, and I would just bring trash bags, a rake, and gloves, and I would just spend like a couple hours just picking up all the trash on the front, back, and sides of the property. And then if I needed to edge the overgrown grass, I'd do that too. And then I made like $150. And that was in 21 and 2020. So that was right before inflation really started hitting us. So after I started printing all the money in 2020, inflation only really got bad in 2022. I mean, I didn't really notice much of a difference. Usually anytime they do stuff like that, it takes a while for it to come into place. Just like with these interest rate hikes, it takes time. It doesn't just, you can't just turn off inflation or just be like, oh, inflation's up, clink, let's just bring it right back down. It fortunately doesn't roll that easily. But yeah, so I guess if going back to the mechanics lien is if I did the labor for that house and they didn't pay me $150 like we agreed, then I would file an M&M lien on the real property and personal property. I think that's what the thing's saying. So where are we at now? Here we are. So for this question, what is the M&M lien for? Is it property taxes? No, that would be ad valorem. Is it an IRS claim? Probably not. So is it home improvement loan? No. It's either labor or personal property or real. So we're going with B. Offense that was built on the property but not paid for. Can you imagine if you had like a builder or, and he assigns his crew out there to build a house and everything, and then he doesn't pay anybody? Like, how many liens would that guy have? He'd have a lot. He'd be like, hey, I got a house built for free. But that would not work because with these contractors, they want to be paid. If they do like 50% of the work, you can only go so far with these contractors before they're like, hey, I need a draw or I need some money to continue. And once they smell that you don't have any money, they get angry. Number 18, an appraiser requires a property to have 4 characteristics to have value. They are, remember the acronym DUST: demand, utility, scarcity, and transferability. And see, the easy way to remember that is you look at the first letter, D, U, S, and T. But then you also have to remember, because it can trick you with delivery, utility, security, and transferability. So dust is an easy one. Another one is PEAT, that is police power, eminent domain, taxation, and a sheet. So that's P. Then there's old car, obedience, loyalty, disclosure. Crap. What is C? Accounting? No. Crap. I already forgot old car. The funny thing they would say at Champions is they would say if you're not getting any closings, you're driving a what? Old car. An appraiser has valued a single family rental property in a neighborhood where almost all the homes are leased. What approach did he most likely use to determine the value for this property? Oh, we got this question wrong yesterday. We chose D, which is the GRM. The right answer to this is A, the income approach. The GRM is the gross rent multiplier. They don't use that. I think they use the GRM for investment properties. So if you're working with an investor and he's trying to find a property that's gonna, he's trying to find his first rental property or something, you would use the GRM formula. An older home has been updated for the technology to eliminate what type of depreciation. Is it physical, economic, functional, or external? It would be functional obsolescence. Oh no, it's a math problem. I think I remember the answer from yesterday, so we're going to move quickly to 90. Which of the following situations would require an appraisal? The seller wants to be sure the price of the home is competitively. The buyer wants to make a fair offer on a listed property. The parent wishes to gift a property to a child. A court-ordered partition. The property owner has over-improved his property. What principal value will describe this result? We got this question wrong yesterday. The right answer is the law of diminishing returns. We chose regression. And you know what's really tricky? Is when you look up regression, real estate, it says the value of the high-end real estate may be diminished by having lower-end properties in the same vicinity. That's what made me choose that. But then this one, if you Google the law of diminishing returns, the principle stating that profits... Do they have a real estate one? Because that might just be like the economic version. The premise that additional expenditures beyond a certain point, the point of decreasing returns, will not yield a return commensurate with the additional investment. Okay, so here's an example. A return... Law of diminishing returns to scale. A return to scale is when all inputs are increased in order to increase the total output. One example is adding a second shift at a factory in order to increase production. However, it does not always increase production in the same way. What is the law of diminishing returns? Marginal... Okay, we could spend like so much time like clicking all of these, and then we'd be like an hour later and we still haven't finished. So you know that 23 is B, the law of diminishing returns. Really it's saying, hey, you've upgraded past a certain point where you're no longer actually yielding a return. 24. Oh, this is one of those tricky questions. We thought yesterday was C, saying from the National Association of Licensed Certified Appraisers. That sounds like a great answer. But the right answer was A, from the state in which the appraiser will work. What is the highest weighted criteria for an appraiser using the income approach? Crap, forgot this one. Rate of return, capitalization rate, market value, net operating income. He's using the income approach. I don't think it's NOI. I think it's rated return. It's not market value. I don't think it's D, even though that was the answer we chose yesterday. We're going to go with that. And you know what? I don't think we've used Quizlet on this exam, so we're rocking pretty good today. How is GRM calculated? We got this wrong. We did C yesterday. I'm going to go with A. Average price divided by average annual rent. Dude, you know what we need right now that would really help? Probably keep me from yawning, because I ran out of coffee. A liquid death. You're like, what is that? It's a sparkling water drink that looks like a energy drink, but it's really good, and the water's artesian. It's very delicious. And it's only like $168 at Target. 27. Can a sales license holder prepare a BPO? The answer to that one was yes. Yeah. So we chose D yesterday and got that one wrong. I was very annoyed about that. Oh, this one, $395. Remember that for yesterday. What is the market value of the property? They rounded up. Yesterday we chose $394,667, but the right answer was $395. A broker has listed his own property for sale. Which of the following is true? A. What is true about the duties of all license holders? Honestly and fairly. That's true. Seller has received and accepted an offer. Oh, this one. So this one's saying the seller notifies the buyer that he's unable to close on the required date, but he will be able to 2 days later if the buyer agrees. So the buyer's in has higher leverage at this point, so it is voidable at the option of the buyer. But then again, it's kind of tricky. Is it B or is it C? I think it's going to be C. Because this one's kind of showing the emphasis that the buyer has the option here. Number 32, a buyer's written offer was presented to the seller. The seller sent a written counteroffer to the buyer. The counteroffer expires at 5 p.m. on Friday. Which of the following is true? I think I got this question wrong too. Oh, hold up. The reason why we got this wrong, because we were looking at it from the scope of the buyer. This is in the scope of the seller. The seller sent a written counteroffer to the buyer. The counteroffer expires at 5 p.m. on Friday. What is true? The seller may withdraw anytime before the buyer accepts the counteroffer. Our answer yesterday was the seller may withdraw the counteroffer until it's 5 p.m. on Friday. Well, that's not true, because if they accept it, it's definitely not C. If they accept it, that rules that one out. The seller may not withdraw before 5 p.m. It's not B, it's not C, it's not D. It most likely be A. An agent's commercial listings under contract. The closing date has been set and all contingencies have been met. The agent learns that government improvements in the area will have a big impact on the property value. The agent should B. Disclose the information to the seller and continue the sale. Contract that is signed but not yet carried out is executory. Is it executory or how do we say this? No! Don't print it. Don't print it. Almost hit the wrong thing. Alright guys, watch your ears.
Executory. Executory.
Okay, what in the world?
Executory.
I feel like I'm learning that the bad way by listening to him say that. Let's listen one more time.
Executory.
Executory. I don't even know if that guy in the video can say that word right. They need to hire a better. They need to find a better sound guy for that one. A word guy. Word man. Number 35, a buyer wants the right to purchase a property during the next 2 months at a negotiated price in terms. What type of agreement should he enter into with the seller? This was an option contract. Yesterday we did a contract for deed. That's something else. A sales contract, an implied contract. Which of the following creates a general agency relationship? A listing agreement, a buyer rep agreement. And wouldn't a buyer rep, I don't know, a management agreement, a sales contract? I'm gonna go with C. I know for sure a management agreement is a general agency relationship. A property management agreement, a buyer rep agreement. I wonder, is that a general agency relationship or is that? Which of the following statements about a bilateral contract is false? Which of the following statements about a bilateral contract is false? I don't really know. Which of the following statements about a bilateral contract is false? Is an exchange of promises. Oh, this question. It is an exchange of promises. That's true. It is binding on the property, on both properties. I think that's true. There's strict performance. I'm going to go with C. Both parties can be sued. That's true. So what is false? It requires a strict performance on the date specified. That's C, so that would probably be false. Which of the following best defines or describes a counteroffer? A partial acceptance of an offer, when a party makes a simple inquiry, when a seller accepts some of the terms, or a rejection of the offer and presentation of a new offer in response to the offer received. It'd be A. Number 39. When does a buyer's offer become a binding contract? Oh yeah, dude, this question is so annoying from yesterday. When we did C, but the right answer is when it is accepted and the acceptance is communicated. I thought it was when all negotiations are complete and both parties agree. I mean, dude, that sounds like a better answer than when is it accepted and the acceptance is communicated. I mean, yes, I get it. D is a good answer, but C feels like a good answer too. A landlord and tenant negotiate a verbal lease. This one we did voidable and unenforceable. Actually, since it's an 8-month term, it is void, and it's definitely unenforceable because it's a verbal lease agreement, which basically says, hey, Mr. Landlord, I want to lease your property for 8 months. I'm the tenant, and then Mr. Tenant me would come back to landlord and say, you know what, I actually don't want to lease your property. I found somewhere else I'm going to lease. Then the landlord has a unenforceable agreement because he was never able to enforce the lease because he didn't get it in writing with the tenant. And it's also void because it's 8 months. When a license holder is also a principal to the transaction, he must disclose to a rule. C, even if the license holder only has an economic interest in the property. Broker has one relation to the client. This is an example of B, agency. Yesterday we did brokerage. That's not right. What are the requirements of a valid and enforceable real estate contract? Yesterday we chose C, but that's not right. Consideration, in writing, and legal purpose. In writing, offer and acceptance in times of essence. Legal purpose, competent parties and earnest money. I'm going to go with D, legal purpose, in writing, consideration. You know what? D's not even that good. I'm going to go with B. In writing, offer and acceptance in times of the essence. What is the most important duty of an agent? Loyalty. A property where there's been a murder, stigmatized. License holder markets her listing as being the most beautifully decorated home. She is guilty of puffing. It's okay to puff, just don't puff too much. Broker has purchased general liability insurance for his company. This policy will protect the company assets if, what's the key word? A client is injured on company property. Bam. And then this one right here, the broker is found guilty of false advertising. That would be in professional liability, also known as errors and omissions. I think 48, a license holder is just case in class and marketing. What is false? Exaggerated puffing, which leads to misrepresentation, is not permanent. That's true. Puffing is in advertising is permitted. That is true. The license holder does not need written permission from clients. That is. Wait. Oh yeah, it is A. All advertising social media services comply with fair housing TIL rules. That's true. So this is true. That's false. The license holder does not need written permission from her clients to advertise their properties on social media. Guys, there's a lot of clients out there, prospects, leads, whatever you want to call them, and not all of them are going to be very open to social media. Some of them be like, do not put my house on the internet. I don't want to be. But they're going to freak out. Okay, they're going to sound just maybe similar to that. Maybe not so squeaky. So yeah, always get permission to advertise someone's property. When you're dealing with money, a house, and people, there's going to be some problems. What does... Oh, we got this one wrong too. What does the Uniform Electronic Transactions Act guarantee in court? I did A yesterday. That didn't get me through. Its electronic signature should always be upheld if all parties agree to their use. That one honestly does sound like a better answer. I should have read that more. E-signatures are only valid for international transactions. I mean, I guess. E-signatures are not permanent for real estate transactions. Dude, if you had... Oh my gosh, if you could not do electronic signatures in real estate, do you know how much of a pain that would be? You would not get much done in the day, because if anyone comes, say they come into this office or wherever you're at, and you have to get a signature, it's hard to just get someone to sign something and then get back to work. They're going to want to see, oh, how's your kids? How's your family? They're going to want to talk to you. And I mean, I'm sure you probably want to talk to them too. So you're not just going to be like, hey, sign this and now get out of here. No one's going to do that. So thank God for e-signatures, because you can just sign it, get back to work, both parties move on, they forget, and life moves on. So thank God we have e-signatures. Number 50, a sales agent has been working in residential for 5 years. Oh, this is the one. He wants to go to industrial sales. What should he do to be competent? He should read a book. Yes. Take a course. They should just make the answers very just bland and very just vague. Like, advertise himself. Read a book. Take a course. Align himself. Just something like, just 2 words. So you have to make the exam so freaking hard. They're like, what? What is the answer? Align himself with and work in the industrial property specialist to learn the business. Should he take a course about industrial marketing? All of these are good, but the best answer would probably be this: align yourself with the work and with an industrial property specialist to learn the business. Number 6, a sales agent in your office has been farming a neighborhood and counseling sellers to sell when, to sell now. He's mentioning the relocation of a larger number of immigrants. He's suggesting the property values may begin to fall. He's practicing channeling, good marketing technique, yeah, for him, steering or blockbusting. Well, he's definitely blockbusting, which is basically saying getting everyone to try to sell their property. Basically, they use fear to create panic, to create sales, to create opportunity, and then they kind of just repeat it. So they're saying, hey, Mr. Owner, sell your property now. There's a group of people coming in. They're going to drop the your housing prices are going to go down if they come here. Hurry up and sell your house now, lock in the money now, and then find, then what they probably would do is do blockbusting, and then they'd probably do steering, which is why they banned steering and blockbusting. It's illegal because that's probably their little business practice. So yeah, then they get the owner to sell their property really cheap. They buy it. Then when they sell it, they mark it up. They sell it for a higher price, and they keep the difference. That's their marketing technique. So thank God that is no longer legal to do. 52. Which of the following would be a violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act? We did C yesterday and got that wrong. I think it's this one. That's just negotiations. This answer, it sounded right to me, but apparently it's wrong. Broker Sunday market areas to facilitating sponsors, that's not wrong. An MLS service requiring a minimum commission rate for listing it accepts. That is wrong. Okay. 53, a senior apartment. Yes. This is if it's 55 or older, there's a vacant apartment, can they refuse to lease it to a single mother with a child? Answer is yes. I feel like I'm going to get that wrong. I don't know why. 2 brokers are discussing commissions at a social function with the intention of setting a rate for their market. The discussion is a violation of the antitrust law. I'm going to go with B. The broker has accepted buyer's deposit, one in the escrow account, one in the operating account. What has he done? He has used the funds in the operating account to pay his office expenses. He's not only commingled the money, but he's also spent it. And spending means conversion. He has commingled and converted the money, which is conversion. Commingling, mixing, conversion, spending. Civil Rights Act of 1866 prohibits discrimination on color, religion, age, or national origin. It's color. If a discrimination complaint is filed with HUD regarding license holder, what will HUD do? It is A, HUD will file suit against the agent seeking civil penalties. B, HUD will file a suit against the agent seeking criminal penalties. HUD will revoke the license. HUD will fine the license holder $55,000. It is A, HUD will file suit against the agent seeking civil penalties. Which of the following advertisements would be in violation of the Federal Fair Housing Act of 1968, and it was amended in 1988? I think it's C. Which of the following statements about lead and the lead disclosure is false? So with these type of questions, you want to look for what is true. Well, what is true? Lead is found in paint, pipes, and soil. That's true. All lead must be removed and remediated before the property can be sold. I don't know. The disclosure must be provided for all properties built before 1978. That's also true. So boom, that's 2 done. The disclosure always allows buyers. Disclosure allows the buyers to waive the right of the lead inspection. I believe that's true. So I'm going to go with C. All lead must be removed or remediated before the property can be sold. That is false. It does not all have to be removed. Just needs to be disclosed that, hey, there's some lead here. A popular method of dealing with the asbestos problem on a property is it mitigation, condemnation, assessment, or encapsulation? Be encapsulation. Which of the following actions would not be advisable for a real estate license holder trying to avoid liability with environmental issues? Becoming familiar with the common project area. That seems okay. Asking a seller about contamination. That seems okay. Recommending inspections and disclosing all known hazards. That should be fine. C, performing basic tests for hazardous materials. That's probably not okay for the agent to be doing that. 62, a seller was unaware of the presence of asbestos on his property. The buyer's inspection has been found that asbestos is present. Which of the following is true? There is no duty for the seller to perform asbestos abatement. That is actually the answer. Asbestos removal is not considered hazardous. The removal of asbestos is called remediation. As a result, EPA rulings that places asbestos on a property automatically voids the sale. It's a circulars on admission of the EPA, which stands for the Environmental Protection Agency. A buyer tells his agent that he is concerned about the possible presence of radon on the property. The best response for the agent is tell the buyer he only has to worry about radon if he smokes. No, sorry, that's not the best answer. B, tell the buyer to have an inspection. C, tell the buyer there's no need to worry because if radon was present, they would be able to smell it. D, tell the buyer not to purchase the property in question if he has radon concerns about it. Probably be B. 65. A seller's disclosure is used in many states. Which of the following statements about disclosure is false? That seems true. A license holder should never fill out seller's disclosure. The seller's disclosure is not required if the property has been leased and the owner who lives out of state has not occupied the property for many years. The accuracy of the seller's disclosure is the responsibility of the seller. That's true. I think it's C. A broker can be held liable for misrepresentation of material fact on the seller's disclosure if the misrepresentation could have been detected by visual inspection. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good thing. 66. How long does the seller have to keep a copy of the lead paint disclosure? 3 years. Which of the following closings would be regulated by RESPA? RESPA! It's condominium. I always forget. I think that stands for real estate sales. You know what? When you don't know, just right click and then left click. Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. I don't know why it's so easy to forget. It was a law passed by U.S. Congress in 1974. Requires what? What is the purpose? To provide consumers with improved disclosures of settlement costs and to reduce the cost of closing by the elimination of referral fees and kickbacks. Oh, yes. Okay. RESPA. This is for, thank God we have this. This Procedures Act keeps, it keeps agents and lenders from, it'd be like an agent saying, hey, Mr. Lender, give me a kickback for giving you my client to do the loan for, or it would be the lender asking the agent, hey, Mr. Agent, give me a kickback for allowing you, for the client I gave you to do the sale or something. So, and the reason why that's important is because RESPA keeps the cost of closing cost fees down. If you didn't have that, then you'd be paying a lot more because you'd be paying these referral fees and kickbacks to these agents and lenders, and just it'd be a mess. And so RESPA is regulated. Which of the following closing would be regulated? So I guess the condominium is something that moves a lot, high activity, and RESPA is regulating that. In many instances, a lender will require a buyer to purchase PMI when financing the purchase of a home. What does PMI do? It ensures the lender's exposure to risk, usually the top 25 to 30% of the loan amount. Bam. Ensures the total loan amount. No. Pays off the loan in the event of death. No. It's not that either. Ensures the lender will receive the entire balance at foreclosure. No. It's just a 25 to 30% of the loan amount. Which of the following can be used to protect a lender from loss? Interest income, discount points, a buy down, a prepayment, or origination points. It is a prepayment penalty. A borrower is aware that interest rates are set to be lower in the next few months. He wants to purchase property now. What type of loan should he get to allow him to take advantage of lower rates in the future? A budget mortgage, a subprime loan, a blanket mortgage with a release clause, or D, an ARM. It would be an ARM, which is an adjustable rate mortgage. When does the vendee receive the deed and contract for deed financing? After he makes the final loan payment, when he moves into the property, when the contract is signed by both the vendor and vendee, after he places the vendee's lien on the property. I believe the best answer would be after he makes the final loan amount. Where do you find PMI? On a high LTV conventional loan. Is it on an FHA insured loan, on a secondary financing, on any unsecured loan? Right answer is on a high LTV conventional loan. PMI stands for private mortgage insurance. 73. An individual has applied for credit and the application has been denied. What federal law states that the individual is now entitled to a free copy of his or her credit report? Is it the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Truth in Lending, or RESPA? Let's B. Yesterday we did A, which was the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. That is wrong. Honestly, how did we get that wrong yesterday? If we were really reading, it makes more sense that it is B, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It kind of just says it right there. I mean, think about it like this. If they said, the individual got denied, and then you're asking them, well, hey, I know you denied me for my credit, so can I see my report? And they're like, oh, no, we can't give out your report. It's confidential. Or they make up some excuse why they can't give it out. That wouldn't be fair. So that's the answer. Fair Credit Reporting Act. Commercial property leases for $7,500 a month. Property manager. Oh, we got this question wrong yesterday. And you know what? From yesterday to today, we still don't know how to do it. So we're going to skip it. I always skip the math ones. And that is because I don't want to spend a lot of time on those. We're going to review those later. What is their equity at closing? I think I did this one yesterday. If it's a hard math one, dude, I just skip that thing. If it's... Okay, let's see here. Okay. So $200,000 with an LTV of 80%. They have repaid $27,000 of their original loan amount. They just sold home for $229,000. So $200,000 times 80% is $160,000 minus 27, $133,000. Wait a minute. $96,000. That might be it, might not. Basically, I just took 80% of $200,000 and then subtracted 127 and then subtracted 229 and got 96,000. And you know what? We should have done that on here so you guys could have seen. So 200 times 80% minus 27,000. Oh shoot. Oh my gosh. Why are these calculators such a pain to use? Someone in the comments were like, no, you're just an idiot. 8% minus 27, 1, 2, 3. 2, 2, 9, 1, 2, 3. 96,000. Let's keep that handy dandy thing right there. A lot is sold for 100,000 with a 90% LTV. The seller has agreed to pay 3 discount points. This one did 100. Oh, I keep forgetting that. This is 100,000 times 90%. 90,000. Now, so how did I do this yesterday? 90,000 divided by 100 times 3, so 2,700. That's right. I could be plugging these numbers in wrong, but worth a shot. Wakita Jones at Champions, one of the instructors there, she said, as long as you know everything else really well and you're not the best in math, you'll be able to pass this test. So if you're like me or other people out there that aren't too good at math, you probably don't want to be spending so much time learning it. If you're just not a math person, it's really not worth it. It's good to know. I think it's good to know your math, obviously, but as for the sake of getting licensed so that you can start getting in the field, you're going to learn the math the one way or the other down the course of your career path. It just, you want to get rolling on it. A commercial property is 200 times 300. There is a lot premium for frontage. The premium is $50 a front foot. How much will the buyer pay for the lot premium? I mean, is this one just a simple times 50? I'm going with 3 million. Property was purchased for $400,000 3 years ago. Oh, I remember this question. So $400,000 times 4% times 3, so 48. I did that one last time, but that wasn't it. I think it was actually C, which is 449. We'll have to look at what it says on there because I don't remember exactly how they calculated that. Yeah, look at that one at the end. Using cost approach, what will be the value of two-story? Okay. I think I remember how to do this. 65 times 30 times 100. 260? Nope, that's not right either. Alright, I got no freaking clue. Well, wait, hold up. 65 times 30 times 100 plus 50 minus 15,000 depreciation, 230. It's probably that. Submit exam. Let's check it. We got everything in. All right, page 8 of 8. We are about to hit 50 minutes. Real estate salesperson, national prep exam 1. Let's see how we did. Holy frick. We passed this with a grade of 85 without Quizlet. Guys, let's do this. Look at that. So that really just goes to show you when you do this back to back, you improve a lot. All right, same as before. Let's count how many questions we missed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, oh crap, 12 or 13. So then again, we're going to write. We missed 12 questions. Not too bad. So now let's go ahead and see what we missed. Let's start at the bottom. Just keep rolling this thing around. Number 80, using the cost approach. Oh man, we just did this one. Okay, so it was B is correct. Land plus building, depreciate minus depreciation. So you can do L plus B minus D. 65 times 30 times 2. Oh, we forgot the 2. Equals 3,900 times 100. Yeah, look at that. See, that's the tricky thing about it, is if it has words and numbers, you gotta read the words too, because that's a number right there. Equals 3,900 plus building cost 50,000 minus depreciation. That's minus equals 425. Dude, that's an easy math problem there. I should be able to understand that. Number 78, a commercial property is 200 times 300. There's a lot premium for the frontage. Premium is $50. How much will the buyer pay? A is correct. 200 times 50 equals 10,000. Well, wait. How come? Alright, we'll have to review that, Mark. 77, a lot is sold for 100,000 with a 90% LTV. The sellers agree to pay 3 discount points and an origination point for the buyer at closing. How much will the seller owe at closing? C is correct. 100,000 times 0.90 equals 90,000 loan. 90,000 times 0.04 equals 3,600. Wait a minute, we got this wrong? Oh, bro. You know what? Rather than us just reading it, let's actually throw in the numbers so that we're really locking this in. So they're saying you get 100,000 times 0.90. 90 times 0.04 equals 3,600. 3 discount points plus 1 point. Origination equals 4 points. Okay. So that is 3,600. Oh, because see, the other way is I was thinking it would either be 2,700 or it's 3,000, because I know 1 discount point is 1%, which is 1,000 times 3, so 3,000. Okay. 75. A is correct. $10,000 times 12 equals 120. Gross rent, 120,000 times 0.92. Occupancy. Oh, so I guess anytime you see a property has a vacancy rate and it says 50%, then you would do 0.50. If it said 90%, then you would, or if it said 9%, then you would do, 10%, then you would do 0.90. Or it said 50, you do 50 or something like that. Okay, equals 110,400 minus 47 equals 62. 62 divided by 0.10. Rate of return equals 628,000. These questions are so confusing. So then that means the correct answer was A, 628. A commercial property leases for $7,500 a month. C is correct. 7,500 minus 725 equals 6,775 times 0.8 equals 542. Okay. Seller disclosures use many states. Which of the following statements about the disclosure is false? B is correct. A seller's disclosure is not required if the property has been leased and the owner who lives out of state has not occupied the property for many years. That is false, so that is the right answer. So true, 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 false. 43. What are the requirements of a valid enforceable real estate contract? How did we get this one wrong? Correct answer is D, consideration in writing and legal purpose. Landlord and tenant negotiate a verbal lease agreement on the phone for an 8-month term. The tenant later decides not to move in. What term best describes the lease agreement these two parties had? Wait a minute, I got this one wrong? Oh my god, I chose void and unenforceable. The right answer is valid and Wait a minute, hold up. Hold up, that's confusing. Okay, so a verbal lease agreement for 1 year or less is valid and enforceable. So it's A, valid. I chose void and unenforceable. How did I get there? Wow, okay. Well, this is why you read these answers so that you know what so you understand for next time. Dang, we got this wrong again. How is GRM calculated? Correct answer is B, average price divided by average monthly rent. Usually with these, we're gonna have to start writing out the question answer. So it's average price divided by average average monthly rent. So AVMORENT. And that equals for how GRM is calculated. All right. What is the highest weighted criteria for an appraiser using the income approach? Correct answer is D, NOI. No way! That's what I chose yesterday. We would have gotten that right if I went with the answer from yesterday. That's a bummer. When a property has an easement appurtenant, somebody comment down below and let me know if I'm saying that right. Which of the following is true? C is correct, which is the easement limits the subservient estate. We chose the easement benefits the subservient estate. The easement appurtenant is a benefit to the dominant estate and a limit on the subservient estate. It passes to the buyer when the property is sold. Okay. And they're referencing that from real property characteristics, legal description, and property use. A surveyor has described. It's B, meets and bounds. Oh, wow. Okay. Meets and bounds contains point of beginning, terminal point, monuments, government survey system, contains section, township range. Monuments are descriptive points in a meets and bounds description, but are not a legal description. Lot and block and subdivision plot is a legal description from recorded maps and plats. Real property characteristics, legal descriptions, and property use. We need to find this chapter right here, real property characteristics, legal, and property use. We need to find that, and that would probably help us get to 100. We're at 85. It's without Quizlet, so we're getting there. You know, I wonder, okay, so then when you hit continue, it sends you to the state prep. I wonder if they organized this. Here's what I'm thinking. I got a new theory. Okay, so you go to my classes. You go to okay. I think they organized this a certain way. There has to be there's a reason why these are set the way they are. I think they're trying to mimic this to be as close as it can to the real test. So the real this is just a theory, okay? So don't get all mad at me. But I think they put this in order that in the real exam you may have it set up where it's National Prep 1, State Prep 1, National Prep 2, State Prep 2. So National Prep 3, State Prep 3. Holy crap. National Prep 4, State Prep 4? Oh my gosh. There's a lot of exams. It goes all the way to 4. So we got plenty of videos coming out. We might even go through the broker ones just for more assist for you guys. Really for more support. So I guess it's 3:28. We've been on air for a while now. We're going to go ahead and cut the video. And if you guys like this video, you like these type of videos, please leave a comment down below, like and subscribe. And in our next video that are going to be coming up, we're going to go through the flashcards and actually read through these and really go through this stuff so that you guys can get your real estate license. After we go through all these exams, we'll be tapping into this one. This course is night before the exam. So I want to give as much content and videos on this as I can. We're at the start of 2023. All of this stuff is very fresh. So watching these videos should be able to help you and save you money so you can start studying now while you're going through your classes and then get your license as soon as you can. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a comment, like, definitely subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one, and I'll see y'all then. Thanks for watching.